Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gitte Mary and today I want to react to some of my previous very early zero waste videos. I have been zero waste. I've been pursuing zero waste. I've been interested in zero waste for 7 years at this point. 7.5, almost 8. So a lot of stuff has happened, a lot of stuff has changed, I have changed, the movement has changed, and I thought it could be a fun idea to show, share and react to some of my very early videos. This is also very much in line with a question I get asked a lot, which is how did you get started, or sort of like what was your first steps? I can show you because it's literally online forever or until I take it down. The videos I'm gonna show you are still available on my channel if you want to see the entire thing, but I want to share some clips. But before I do that, this video is sponsored. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. I've been partnering up with Skillshare for a long time because you know what? I like learning new things. I like maintaining the skills I already have. I often use Skillshare as a tool to sort of get inspired and learn new things. I love crafts, hobbies, etc. So, perfect! Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different courses where you can learn a lot of different stuff. And especially if you want to start a new lifestyle, zero waste or any other lifestyle, learning new, fun, small trades through Skillshare is a really good idea. Like this pickling and fermenting class. I've been pickling and fermenting things ever since I started my zero waste journey. It's a really neat way of conserving vegetables, making them last longer, making you able to eat seasonal foods throughout the entire year. I'm a big fan. If you want to check out Skillshare, use the link down below in my description. The first 1,000 people to click that link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. So thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get into les réactions. Now I have my headphones on and I'm ready to start this out. So the first thing I want to show you is clips from my very first apartment tour video. Okay.
And that is not particularly exciting. I am trying to do this without a tripod, and we have the stick that goes all the way through the but it is a table that I found in an old playhouse, which mostly just stores junk and our plants. This one is one we're trying to save because it was standing in the window and it was a little bit rough on it, the sunlight, so we're trying to save it. I don't know how that is going. On the other side of the bookshelf, we have more books.
So first of all, I'm completely out of breath. I'm not really exactly sure why I am this out of breath. This first apartment, I lived here with my previous boyfriend, and we lived there for, I think, almost 2.5, 3 years, etc. Most of the things in this apartment was secondhand, thrifted, vintage of some sort. And it was in this apartment that I started my zero waste journey. So I started out a couple of regrowing projects and we went to the farmer's market, etc. I cannot look at this video because the camera is so bumpy and production value is none. I want to preface this video by saying, I can't really preface it because I'm doing it now and we're already getting started. But this was a time where I was really trying to find myself. I was 21 years old, 22, 21 years old. I'm 28 now. So a lot has happened. I think it's really important to sort of embrace the past steps you have been on. I think it's really important to not just go, I was just an idiot and everything I did and said I hated, but I'm going to have some facial expressions in this video that you could easily interpret as me just absolutely cringing of myself. But I think that's a good thing. It's simply because I was so anxious and I was nervous and I was tense and I tried to presume this character and I didn't really need to. Like now, I feel a lot more calm and together. I'm just myself online and I hadn't found my voice yet. And I think it's really important that you're able to sort of just cringe at yourself because that means you've developed and grown as a person. And I think that's really important. Now, this next video is also an apartment tour video, but I think it's been a year, half a year maybe. Some time has gone by. I've learned a little bit about how you actually work a camera. So it's a little bit better. It's more like a vibe, mood check-in video. I honestly really liked this apartment overall. It was very small and it would have been better if I'd lived there by myself.
And that is actually an antique I got while I was still living at home, but I decided to bring it with me because I think it's so beautiful. Here we have some of my kitchen utensils. They're all made out of stainless steel or wood. And
these
that
things
one
I still
over
own,
there,
by the way.
that's bone. And that little kitchenware, that is actually thrifted as well. I really, really like it. It is one of my favorite things, even though it's plastic.
Oh, I said something really interesting there. This is one of my favorite things. I love it even though it's plastic. I think that illustrates quite well my sort of introduction into zero waste and sustainability in general. I felt an intense amount of guilt from enjoying a thing that didn't register for me as ideal. And you know, owning a kitchenware that's vintage in plastic, there's nothing wrong. I cannot stress this enough. There's nothing wrong with owning and liking that thing, but I sort of felt like the need to explain in detail every time I stumbled into something, every time I showed something online that I didn't feel like felt in alignment with zero waste, even though it fits perfectly in alignment with zero waste. There's definitely absolutely nothing wrong there. But that sort of illustrates quite well my point of view at this point in time.
That is my homemade
Still make that
cleaning
as well.
agent, and I love it. I use it for everyday cleaning, but I use it for dishes as well. And it holds whisks and bristles and spoons and my wok and my keys.
Still have the Star Wars poster.
And a Star Wars poster. Weehoo! I love this. This is one of my favorite things in my entire apartment. And now you can see it too. Super. Okay. But yeah, no plastic here. Almost everything is thrifted or at least secondhand. So I love that. Not my fork though, which you can see right there. But I love it. There is nothing close to minimalism about this. But I cook a lot and I like to have equipment.
Who can blame a girl?
To cook, and that's what's going on here. And I just really, really, really like cutlery and finding different sorts of things. I'll show you one of my favorite knives. That is this one. Also pretty exciting.
Look how tiny that.
Beautiful. But
I had no jars back then.
All my jars I use for shopping and food storage and just
okay. So now this is a third apartment tour video, but it's from another apartment that me and this past boyfriend we moved into, and this is also just sort of like a vibe check. You can see sort of the different details here. Things are thrifted, things are secondhand. I did have a couple of books, lots of Star Wars merch. Still have all this Star Wars merch. Do you remember my cat Lovis? That goat statue is right in the background over here. Hey, still have all my things. Who would have thought? I think one of the funny things to watch these things is, first of all, to recognize how many of my past belongings have new lives or new meanings or new functions to me now. I think that's honestly a little bit inspiring for me. But one of the main things that I notice when I watch myself and I watch or hear myself speak is that I feel very tense. I feel out of breath and I have lots of like filler words because I guess I'm a little bit insecure. At this point in time, I thought that I needed to either tone down or like dial up different parts of my language. And it's nice that I feel a lot more calm and secure in how I speak and how I act now, because this was one of the things that held me back in the day from doing more YouTube, from speaking more, because I felt like I had to sort of maintain some type of persona that was completely unnecessary. Now let's move into the fashion era as well, because a lot of things changed in that regard as well. I was very inspired by like the hippie boho aesthetic. It was also really easy to find thrifted and secondhand and vintage pieces of clothing for this type of aesthetic. However, you can find any type of style secondhand as well. But I think it taps into the same idea that this was sort of like the persona I was not like taking on, but sort of just experimenting, exploring this type of persona, these zero waste vibes. So it was a lot of scarves, it was a lot of septum piercings, lots of jewelry, but who can blame her, still do that. Lots of pasty patterns, and just generally, if the 70s and Coachella had vomited over a person, that would have been me. Hello. I don't necessarily cringe when I see all my old ways of dressing, because I think that's a very important part of developing yourself, your sense of self, your own persona as an adult person. I think that's honestly really fun to see what I did with fashion. It was sort of just all the other things that sort of just evolved around the style that I might have a problem with. The using cultural symbols as decoration because I felt like it. Stuff like that, not necessarily the best. The worst, actually. Now, this was a video I did in collaboration with a production company. I cannot even remember what brand needed this. It wasn't even like an advertisement thing. I think it was like a brainstorming session. Anyway, I got a crew out to my apartment and we filmed this like zero waste trailer for a project, which was really fun actually. It shows a lot of the different everyday sort of habits and vibes that I sort of try to portray in my channel, but in much better quality. And I think it generally goes to show how I was living and what my priorities were, all of which was completely okay. I've mentioned many times on this channel how I started out with zero waste sort of as the starting point for my sustainability journey. So I focused a lot on the physical trash. Actually, at this point in time, I only focused on the physical trash, which is completely fine. It's a great place to start. It's a physical representation of you trying to do some things differently, and it's very visible when you're successful in this lifestyle. You can just look at your bin. Is it full? Is it empty? Etc. The problem was, however, that I tended to hyper focus on specific products and specific things that I thought that I needed to do. And if I failed at everything, which is sort of not what we want to do. It's great to use zero waste and trash and physical waste as an indicator of your sustainable lifestyle. But it's also really important to move on from that and to start looking into the bigger perspective. It's important to take interest in the things that we cannot see, CO2 emissions, our general food systems. There are tons of things and specific aspects about sustainability that we cannot see. And those are just as important. And for the longest time, I thought that those things, the things that wasn't zero waste and zero waste only, didn't really apply to me. And obviously, especially when you're an environmental educator and you want to pursue this as your career, not only as your lifestyle, but also as your job, it's especially important to start looking into those aspects. And it took me a while because I was so hooked on using my canvas bags and avoiding straws. And I told myself for a long time that that was the best I could do, when obviously that's not true. Now, let's have a look at this follow me around vlog where I go do my grocery shopping.
On a path with
my camera was
giant ass
huge.
camera, so I don't look stupid at all. But yeah, it's 9:30 and I am going to get some breakfast I haven't eaten yet. And then I have a whole day of meetings and just some chill at home. So yeah, it's going to be great. And I'm just going to hit one other store because I couldn't find any spinach. So we're going to try in there. Let's go.
Are there spinach? That's what I want to know.
I didn't get any spinach, which was sad, but there were dates and there were nuts in there. So that is something
Works
I
as
think
well.
I can whip something together.
Also, can we talk about the fact that in that clip I was playing Pokemon Go, no tea, no shade, but I was also bare feet in the bus. This girl could never. Put your shoes on. Jesus.
So
anyway,
yeah, let's just start over here. We have a baguette.
You didn't even fill up the
baker's,
jar,
just
girl.
as a supplement. Because my stomach doesn't agree with me when I just eat vegetables.
Not
then I have
pun
some
intended.
dates in the jar.
This next video was the video I posted right after this follow me around video, and I think I got some comments and some questions, so I thought, hey, why not make a how I shop zero waste guide, sitting down talking about sort of what I do, giving you guys my bestest tips on how to do that. Let's see how that went.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We're going to talk about something else today because my last video, I believe, was a follow me around when I went to my greengrocers and when I went shopping in general, and I just showed you guys what I brought home with me. And I got a lot of basic questions like how do you shop without plastic, and how this and where that and why this have a very old video called How to Get Started Zero Wasting, something like that. So you're very welcome to check that out. I think I will.
Am I a little bit bothered that I'm making this video?
But this is going to be very basic. If you do not have a farmer's market, if you do not have greengrocers, it may seem a bit hard to live a zero waste lifestyle, and it is harder when you do not have that option, when you only have supermarkets. A lot of people usually have the reaction that that seems hard or takes a lot of time and effort and it's difficult. And lots of great things are usually difficult. Lots of great things usually take time, and it's not something you can just do overnight. It's something that you have to work with and take your time with.
So I'm happy that I acknowledge that it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that you continuously work on, improving yourself at, becoming better and better. I don't necessarily think I'm communicating this in the best possible way. I also think there's definitely something extremely almost bratty, but definitely privileged about going, well, you know, hard things are usually worth it. And then that is your tip. That's your advice. I think it would be more beneficial to first state this might be more difficult for some people than others, and then explain what you do. And then on top of that, also add tips for people that don't have access to bulk shops and farmers markets, instead of just going, yeah, you know, but it's usually worth it. That's examples of this attitude might be one of the reasons why a lot of people are turned off sustainability or turned off zero waste or trying to make an impact, because they see, oh, this is more difficult. I wonder if some people can help me making this less difficult. And then the advice is, yeah, it's difficult. When there are other things we can do, when there are multiple things that we can do that doesn't require bulk shops and farmers markets.
Bring canvas bags.
The canvas bags.
Sorts of containers, because sometimes you never know what you might run into.
That's true.
I thought I had one of my supermarkets completely down and I knew completely what
a little
they
bit
had.
Anecdotal now,
and
but okay.
It turns out they had a lot of other things that they just started carrying, different things.
Show us your canvas bags.
One of the smaller ones. I have one like this, which is rather small, and I carry stuff like fresh beans in this. This is a canvas bag. It's a little bit bigger than the first one, and I usually keep a bread in this canvas bag.
This is just a haul, by the way. That's so dirty.
Had potatoes.
You had more canvas bags. Why not just show one of those? I digress.
A very bad habit that it's so easy to get rid of, you have no idea. Is those small clear plastic bags you usually put the package-free fruit and
it's like a tiny thing that takes up a very large chunk of this video.
Plastic bags, just don't use them. Completely unnecessary.
This is just me for 5 minutes talking about how you can avoid those small clear plastic bags if you just bring your own bag. Yeah. And obviously, I don't want to knock myself completely over the head, because at this point in time, these things were completely new to me. I had just experienced these things for the first time. So obviously, it seemed like this completely revolutionary way of thinking. And for many people at this point in time, I also think that it was. It was for me, it was for other people. And I think something that's important to remember is that when I started Zero Waste, I had never thought about for a second that my actions mattered as a consumer, that the things that I did mattered, because sustainability was this like abstract weird thing that we just heard about in politics a little bit once in a while. So the consumer wasn't really engaged, not from my scope and not from my place in society. So this was a completely new thing, which is why I'm communicating it this way as well, I think. The hair.
Today I'm going to answer some of your questions regarding bulk shopping and what to do and what not to do and stuff like that. When I go for meat shopping, I usually bring a jar like this.
So yes, for the longest time when I was going zero waste in the beginning, I still ate meat. A lot of it as well. I have several videos where I sort of talk this through. I even made a video, I think back in the day, called Why I Won't Ever Go Vegan or something like that. And the feedback wasn't great, mostly because I didn't really bring anything new to the table. I just really repeated talking points that I had heard online, all of which were completely false and had nothing to do with actual science or dietary choice. It was bad. And yeah, I went to the butchers and I went to cheese shops, etc. For the longest time. I got my animal products in jars, and then I was zero waste. And this taps into sort of the same idea that I only really focused on the physical trash. And one of the things that sort of made me do this, or sort of kept me, I guess, from reflecting further upon the impact that we cannot see, is that I saw other bigger influencers talking about zero waste and sustainability, and they said, well, I'm entitled to flying because I only focus on the physical trash. I only focus on zero waste. Or I'm entitled to buying my meat because I come from this and this background and I only focus on trash. So therefore, this has nothing to do with my content. I thought that was a completely reasonable explanation as to why you wouldn't look into these things. Not that every environmentalist has to be vegan, but every environmentalist should reflect upon their consumption of animal products. If you don't reflect on that, if you don't try to improve that, I don't know what to tell you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you wanted to join me today, because today I'm going to give you my 5 best zero waste beginners tips. It was requested loads of times during my last video. The first tip
ditch the
is
plastic bag.
Plastic bags, which for me is something that is so
essential
in the terms of zero waste. Hope
again with this whole energy.
This ombre-ish blue.
This is not the most important thing about zero waste.
Also pretty.
Come on, girl.
To look at.
We can do better.
If you carry canvas bags. Next tip is kitchen related, because we produce a lot of trash when we cook and when we store
This is a long video. This could be a 15-second reel. I don't.
Cling wrap, aluminum foil, all these
Lovely tip.
Single-use products
Practical.
that are completely unnecessary. And now I'll show you why.
Yeah.
Instead, store
whenever you
food
can
in glass or stainless steel containers. Which
I don't know if
I
anywhere
from my
allows you to bring in
grandfather.
a knife, even though it's a butter
And the
knife,
great
though.
thing about this is it's
Say no to
something that
straws.
is really, really important to me, and I took the subject slightly in my last video, but it has something to do with straws.
Wow.
Yeah, because straws are usually almost always made of plastic. Sometimes they're made of cardboard.
Oh, we have beef. I love that.
But let's face it, that is super unpractical.
You tell them, girl.
Because it gets soft and mushy and whatnot, and that's not disgusting. That's disgusting. We don't want that now. But straws. My tip regarding straws is usually when you can, you just say no straw, please. It's super simple. It's a
tiny bit of waste.
Bit of waste, but it is one step
so
towards the path of zero waste. So something like refusing to use a straw is really essential. Glass straws. And I love these. These have been a lifesaver for me, because I love making smoothies and cocktails and drinks, and we make our own soda and something like this. And it just looks
There are
nice
other
with
reasons
straw.
why
It
someone
also
might
has
need a
people
straw.
on it.
It just looks
really
nice.
It looks
There are
10
other
times the
reasons.
size of a glass straw or stainless
Yeah.
steel straw.
Okay.
Instead of a plastic
Great.
straw.
And I think that was the videos I wanted to put you guys through today. Let me know if you want me to react to more videos like this, because honestly, I had a great time. I'm cringing a little bit, but mostly I'm cringing because apparently I didn't know how to speak, and also I didn't know how to edit, and also didn't know how to film. The zero waste part is honestly fine. The major issue is that I focus on these tiny things, and I usually communicate them as though they are really big life-changing decisions. And I guess I do that because for me at this point in time, that was also the case. And I wouldn't just bash myself completely and just go, everything you said and did here was dumb, because these small things led me down a path to where I am now. I really appreciate those tiny efforts that I did back in the day. I think it's really important to learn from your mistakes and also learn from the things that you did right, because even though I did something correctly, I could still improve it. I could still improve how much space it took up mentally for me, how much it took up in my life, etc. I honestly hope I'll be able in a couple of years to sit down and do a video exactly like this again, where I'm just so embarrassed and cringing and just cannot get over how embarrassing I think that I am, because that means that I evolved. It means that I learned a whole lot more, and that's a really good thing. I think one of the main both issues but also huge benefits to showing your progress online to the degree that I've done here is that I can easily pinpoint, okay, when am I not doing something that's ideal for my own development? When am I detrimental to my own mental health? And when am I just working against myself? And oh, right there, then and there, that was probably when I started thinking in a different way. I can learn from my mistakes in a way that I really appreciate. And I hope I'll be able to keep learning this way, and that automatically means that I'll keep thinking I'm embarrassing forever, which is what we have to deal with then. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, leave me a comment down below and let me know if you want more videos like this. I would obviously love to make them, but if you think this was just incredibly embarrassing for me and for your eyes and for everyone else, that's also okay. If you want to watch the full videos that I showed clips from here, I'll leave them down below so you can go and check them out. But it is definitely, it's your own responsibility. Just saying. Also, a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!